Donald Trump's plans to impose broad tariffs came up during a recent meeting that Chrystia Freeland held with an American steelmaker. Lourenco Goncalves is the president and CEO of Cleveland-Cliffs, which now also owns Canada's Stelco. I asked him why he's confident the Canada-U.S. trade relationship will remain strong. Lourenco Goncalves, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Rosemary. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Canada's Deputy Prime Minister, Chrystia Freeland, you may have heard her, called your company's acquisition of Stelco proof that that trade relationship between the Canada and the U.S. will be fine, that it works well. You are someone who supported Donald Trump, and yet you also decided to acquire Stelco, which obviously is a major Canadian steelmaker. Do you agree that your decision to buy Stelco is a sign that all will be okay between the two countries when it comes to trade?
Yeah, look, of course, I cannot speak for the incoming Trump administration, but I absolutely have the full conviction that the relationship between Canada and the United States is way beyond any temporary situation, any disturbance that may or may not occur in trade, because Canada and the United States are so intertwined, so codependent. And I see this codependency getting even more, I would say, enhanced during the Trump administration, because we need Canada. The United States, we need Canada for a lot of things. Canada needs the United States, but we need Canada as well.
You of course, know that Donald Trump in the previous administration put tariffs on steel and aluminum, and he has obviously said he will impose a 10% tariff on all imported goods. Do you think that he will exempt Canadian steel? Is that a concern for you as the owner of Stelco?
Yeah, it's not a concern, but it is something that we will continue to work on, because I don't believe that he will put tariffs just for tariff's sake. That's number one. Right. President Trump is extremely focused on the concept of national security and the security of supply chains. And he's also a big advocate for union labor and a big advocate for the strengths in the middle class. Mm-hmm. And these are values and things that Canada has been doing more or less on the same way as the United States does. Big example was the recent imposition on tariff by Canada, tariffs on steel and EVs and things like that, pretty much mirroring what the United States has done. Yeah. So we will have a good time explaining, and I'm sure that the Trump administration will listen to us.
Have you had conversations already? I know you know some people inside Trump's circle. Have you had conversations about exempting steel or other critical aspects of the supply chain, critical minerals, other things like that? Have you had those conversations yet, Mr. Goncalves?
Yeah, I have not had any specific conversations yet. Okay. But on the other hand, the people that are there are the people that we have been talking for several years, including during the previous Trump administration. So I know how they think, and they absolutely know how I act, and I am sure that they're all in tune and following what's going on between Cleveland-Cliffs and Canada right now with the acquisition of Stelco. Nothing is going to be missed on this process, but it's a process, and I haven't had the objective conversation yet.
Yeah, you did speak to Chrystia Freeland, though, and I wonder what kind of advice you offered to her about how to approach this second Trump administration, because it will be different. There's different people involved, and I wonder what advice you gave to her about how to manage that.
Yeah, look, I don't feel like Deputy Prime Minister Freeland or Minister Champagne need any type of advice. They are extremely knowledgeable, and they are extremely well prepared to position Canada the right way. I can only share with them my thoughts. And my thoughts are very simple. Canada needs to embrace the idea that there's one North America, and the North America that's defined by NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense System. Mm-hmm. And cover anything south of the Rio Grande. So I don't feel like Mexico is part of this conversation, just Canada and the United States. And apparently there's good agreement in Canada. Even my friend, Premier Doug Ford of the province of Ontario, recently said the same thing. So there's a lot of a unified message in Canada, and that's a great thing. The United States need to see that. There's no division in terms of how Canada is positioned in Canada, and I share this view. So that's all good, all in sync.
Yeah, you mentioned there NAFTA, or the CUSMA, the new USMCA, the free trade deal that Doug Ford alluded to this week, and the idea that if we get to a review process and things get difficult, Canada should think about cutting Mexico out. So just so I'm clear, do you think that is also something that should be on the table going forward if needed?
Look, it's well known that President Trump and Ambassador Bob Lighthizer, that has been a very influential person in crafting the trade agenda for the incoming Trump administration, they prefer bilateral treaties instead of multilateral treaties. And I think it's an easy one to get, even I would say the first one to get, to be like a model, a blueprint for what's going to happen in other bilateral agreements would be USCA. I like USCA instead of USMCA, like we call here in the United States, or like you guys call in Canada, CUSMA. That bothers me profoundly. And I believe that Ambassador Lighthizer and President Trump would agree with me. I haven't had this specific conversation with them. I can't speak for them, but that's my position, and they know my position, as well as Vice President-elect J.D. Vance.
Yeah. Let me end on this, Mr. Goncalves, because obviously you have a commitment to keep Stelco's headquarters in Hamilton, if I'm not mistaken, and to maintain certain employment levels in Canada. Is there anything that would change given the Trump administration and the fact that he will be president, or is the commitment the same from your perspective, that Canadian jobs need to be kept in Stelco?
Yeah, not at all. These are commitments, and they are set in stone, and nothing will change. The headquarters in Hamilton. There's a president of Stelco already in place, Clifford Smith. That's my chief operating officer, and a mainly Canadian group of officials running the company. And we will continue to operate from Hamilton, and everything will be fine. So there's no even a remote possibility of change on that.
Okay, Mr. Goncalves, so nice to meet you. I hope we'll speak again, because I think this will be an issue going forward. Thank you for making the time, sir.
I will be glad to talk to you in the future, and thanks for the opportunity. Have a good day, Rosemary. Thank you.